Drake Maye was drafted 3rd overall. It's down to him and Jacoby Brissett. We've all had a feeling which way this is going. Here's Jerod Mayo, first-year coach of the Patriots, after last night's preseason game, on Drake Maye's performance and the decision to come at quarterback.
Yeah, I think he showed great poise. He went out there, his quarterback rating was like 100 or something like that. He made plays. He looked like he was in control of the offense and did a good job for us.
Would Drake Maye play if Jacoby's unavailable?
I would like to sit here and say 100%. He's our second-best quarterback on our roster right now. As I always say, I reserve the right to change my mind. In saying that, look, we got to watch the film. We get in at 3 o'clock in the morning, so we'll see. We'll see if I can get through all the film on the plane.
I'd say second-best quarterback on the roster tells you everything you need to know.
Right.
Because they're not in the habit of playing anything but their best quarterback on the roster, and the players know who's best and ready to go. I feel like start the season, tough defenses early, see where they are.
Right.
If they kind of stumble accidentally into contention, you ride it out with Brissett. The moment you feel like, as a practical matter, it's done, that's when you go to Maye. Not like 20 years ago when the Giants were 5-4 and Kurt Warner got benched for Eli Manning. Remember, he was upset about that.
Yeah.
They're still contending. They're still alive. What are we doing here? I think the Patriots need to ride this out until we know and they know. We know when it's time to put a fork in them, and that time will probably come between Halloween and early December, and then you flip to Drake Maye. Unless they do surprise us. I have a feeling they're not going to surprise us, but who knows? Every year someone surprises us by being a lot better than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I hear you. The Brissett injury, right? And how does that play into this whole thing here? And now is it force the timeline of getting Drake Maye out there at week 1? The positive thing is he gives them some confidence after last night to go, hey, we'll be okay here. We'll be okay if we throw Drake Maye in. But, yeah, by all due indications, it seems like Jacoby Brissett was going to start week 1. Now we're going to see the status of that shoulder and where that's at. And, again, they're going to talk about in meetings today and go, man, Drake Maye looked good. Are we making the right decision in starting Jacoby? We saw the progress Drake Maye and Florio just alluded to. We've seen over a few weeks. Can we make another jump like that before week 1 and then go from there? So those are the things they're going to have some serious conversations about. But at the same time, you and me have hit on this, and we were talking about this a little yesterday too when we were just hanging around. Okay, hey, I'm always in favor of play the guy, get him out there, get it going, right? Let's get that experience. But here's one with New England where the schedule, like you just mentioned, it's real. Do we really want to throw Drake Maye out there right away, week 1? Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl on their mind. And then the Seattle Seahawks, who got talent, and it's Mike McDonald and that defense, followed by the Jets and the 49ers and the Dolphins. Do you want to do that with your rookie quarterback? And we saw last night an offensive line that's not very good, right? And there was, 4 to the 5 starters in there last night? So they're not very good. And we don't know really who your go-to weapon is at receiver or anything like that. So my question or my thing I'm posing to the Patriots, to the sports world, whatever, is, yeah, Drake Maye's your guy, and we see he's got potential and talent and all of that. But do we want to throw him into the fire here right now? 1, because we're not sure he's totally ready, and 2, is our team even good enough to help Drake Maye look the way he should and not totally just demolish his psyche, his physical abilities, all of that by, putting him in the deep water in the ocean with sharks all around him right here to start the year.
Can we pop that schedule back up again? Because
it's crazy,
there's
right?
no obvious spot
no,
where
for the
you
first
say,
game.
oh, that's where you can make Drake Maye the starter. Now, they have the London game, but they don't have a bye after that.
It's one of the toughest schedules
Thursday
in
night
football.
game early, so you're not getting extra days more than 3 weeks into the season. And you mentioned the Bengals and Seahawks. Then they're at the Jets, short week. At the 49ers after that. Dolphins, Texans, Jaguars in London. There isn't a spot where you say, oh, this is where we put the kid in. And the bye isn't until week 14 if you're looking for some time for transition. But you mentioned maybe he'll be playing week 1. Now, Jacoby Brissett got injured last night. And anytime I see the guy grab, I mean, this is a very low-tech assessment. But anytime you see grab up here, you start thinking, is there a collarbone at play? What's going on? Because we've seen that before.
Yeah.
After the game, Jerod Mayo said of Brissett he would have been able to continue. But then he said, we'll see tomorrow. You always feel a little bit more sore the next day. He said he was good. We'll find out tomorrow. So, first of all, they're not going to volunteer that information until they figure out what they're going to do strategically. If they have an issue with Jacoby Brissett, do we have to try to trade for another quarterback? What really is this? How long is he going to miss?
Right.
But until they tell me he's checked out, he's perfectly fine, health won't be an issue for week one, we have to have at least the blip on the radar screen that Drake Maye is going to be thrust into the fray week one, not because he's ready and because he's the best option on the roster, but because the guy who is can't play. And it kind of creates like what we were saying last week with this whole, if the Falcons would say Kirk Cousins isn't ready and we'll go with Penix until he's ready, you can bench the rookie without really benching him, and it doesn't shatter his confidence. Like, hey, you played until the starter was ready.
Right.
So, Drake, you got a couple of weeks.
Right.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
And now Jacoby Brissett's back out there.
Yeah. We liked what you did, but, Jacoby's healthy, and he was our starter, and we're going to ride with him again.
And if it is great, oh, well.
Then we're good, right?
There we go.
Stay, and here we go. These are all questions that they got to answer here. Now, I think in my world, my experience is encouraging as last night was, no doubt about that, right? It still was preseason game number 3 against really 3s and 4s on the Washington defense. And as much as I'm about the look test, and it looked good last night and all of that as well, I don't think I've seen enough to go, ooh, I think Drake Maye is going to succeed and be comfortable and know where his blitzes are coming from and being able to go through reads at a quick pace, which is definitely one of the things he needs to improve on as well, right? I haven't seen enough of that in the preseason like I've seen, with a Jaden Daniels or a Caleb Williams, and let alone going into the preseason thinking they don't need as much work in that department already, to think that this is a recipe for success going into Cincinnati with the Bengals and that team and what they're going to be on a mission for right now. So that's where I would, pump the brakes a little bit, let him continue to develop. Hopefully Jacoby can play. If he can play, I would play him and try to get the team, the offensive line in a spot to where you're saying where, okay, yeah, we know they're not going to be very good. And they're probably going to have a bad record after 6 games, especially with that schedule, right? But maybe they find a spot where they go, hey, we're protecting pretty well right now. We know who our go-to receiver is. Hey, the defense is playing good too here, so we don't have to score 40 points a game. And maybe they can get it to that point where then they go, all right, and Drake Maye got an extra month of work without having to be out in the fire in the regular season and all that, and now we can make the move. That, to me, would be the right thing to do in the perfect world for Chris Simms and what I've seen so far.
Here's Drake Maye on whether or not he will be ready to go week 1 if he's called upon to play in place of Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I think I would feel ready. I think I'm ready for whoever this football team asks of me and ready to get out there and try to help us beat the Bengals week 1. Biggest thing playing probably learn is just next play mentality. You'll take whether it's a good play, bad play, play you wish you had back. Had a few of those tonight. Let's move on to the next play. It's the next play type league. It's next week type league. In the NFL is what I'm learning. And other than that, just enjoy it. Have fun.
That was kind of funny. That was a moment where his crutch of saying yeah in response to every question worked because it was a yes or no. It was a yes or no question.
Right.
So it worked there.
Right.
But a lot of times it doesn't. But that's, look, you're thrust into these environments. You're young. That's the thing that as we get older, because you're coming along with me and you're hitting 44 this week.
Yes, thank you. Thank
30th?
You. Yeah. What 30?
What day's your
29th,
birthday?
29th. Yeah.
You'll be 29 on the 44th or 44 on the 29th?
44 on the 29th.
All right, happy birthday in advance. I don't
Thank
know when
you.
I'm going to see you again this week.
I know, yeah.
You're
You
going
might
to
not
Kansas
see me.
City.
Right.
Hot shot.
I know, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
Got some friends out there.
Yeah, thanks. So anyway, what's he going to say? Of course he's ready if he's called upon. You have to be ready if you're called upon. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Baptism by fire.
Right.
Going to Cincinnati to start the season and an opportunity to who knows? That's the thing. We never know what any of these guys are going to be until it's time to go play in a real game where they game plan to try to stop you. When you have to go through the highs and lows of a game and you get to the fourth quarter and the game's on the line, these cameo appearances. I mean, Russell Wilson said something like this last week when they were talking about, the rough performance against the Bills in the preseason. What 2 drives in the first quarter, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
What matters is you're making adjustments throughout the game. You're feeling better or you're feeling worse. You're fighting through adversity. There's an opportunity in the third quarter, fourth quarter to make a big play in a big spot. That's where you show that you can do it. This is just like taking a car for a spin around the track. This isn't the race.
No doubt. The race is going to get real. The race, this will be the thing that is going to be shocking to these quarterbacks once they get into the regular season. Hey, preseason's a nice step. You get out there, you're playing football. You're definitely playing against a better quality of player and coaches and all that. It's the preseason, but it's still the preseason. It still is. And it's still, for the most part, very basic coverages. And if you were having moments of, I'm a little flustered in the preseason, well, wait till you get to the regular season, because you didn't see the other team's top-tier pass rushers. You didn't see the defensive coordinator call one game plan type blitz or any, crazy coverages where, hey, in the preseason it's, hey, drop back, it's cover 3, hey, it's cover 3. In the regular season it's going to be like blue 45, they're playing man, blue 45, no, they're going to cover 2, blue 45, no, it's cover 6. It'll change 3 times within a 5-second span. Let alone you're going to have guys like, Trey Hendrickson coming around the edge now instead of, I don't know your name, on the 4th string of the Washington Commander football team. So that's where the rubber is going to meet the road for Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. Life is going to go from basic math to trigonometry here over the next 10 to 12 days. And, there's going to have to be some adjustments made. And that's part of the reason, too, why I would say I don't think Drake Maye is quite as far along as some of the other guys that we just mentioned, Jaden, Caleb, and Bo Nix, nor do I think the team around him is quite as good either. And then you couple that with their schedule and who they're going to play. That's where, with Drake Maye, as encouraging as it was last night, I'd like to see him sit a little bit.
Okay, you have a chance to win $1 million in the NBC sweepstakes on Yahoo Fantasy. Just download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/fantasymillion for additional details. What are you waiting for?
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.